Previously on Ash of Gods, Redemption. Thorn and his party have a difficult road to get to Frigga. Once there they find it besieged on all sides, with its defenders about to abandon the ancient fortress. Macht, Thorn's son, lies somewhere beyond the fortress in the White Tower, an ancient ruin now home to cannibals. Thorn and his party, aided by Macht's mentor Drukit, arrive in time to rescue Macht, though it comes at the cost of Drukit's life. Meanwhile, Pheng still broods about the cost of the strixes required to save Reet's life. The price for his transgression will be high, but it's the only way to find the Wandering Menhir and get him home sooner.
A Shadow Clan warrior serves his employer as long as it doesn't infringe his loyalty to the Shadow Clan. Treachery is unforgivable. Shadow Clan's code for warriors of peace.
And alright. Let's go to the campfire. Pheng. Yes. This chapter starts with Pheng. And, oh hey, we can have a word with Mr. N's. Comma. When will you remove your mask? When its power releases me. Do you remember your home? Thinking of my home is more painful than remembering my lost world. Let's be comradely here. Memories of home are painful for me too. Did you burn it down and kill your loved ones? No, I renounced them. Renounced mine too, but afterwards I killed them. Okay. The gods destroy your world. Even behind a veil of madness, I pondered that. Behind a veil of madness I pondered that, and the She-Reaper's beautiful words which flowed like a mountain brook. She said the gods are like humans. Why did she talk to you? She saw that I don't kill on the spot, but a fraction of a second later than the others. Every time it's like I'm struggling to cross a threshold. So, not all gods kill immediately? They also pause for a moment? What does she mean? I do not know, but some of the black-masked warriors, before we killed them, yelled about the gods fighting just like us, and that one of them has gone mad and seeks to devour our world. You know, out of context, take it off just sounds bad. In this case, we're talking about the mask. I'd have to rip off my skin, but that's not the reason I can't do it. See the rings on my fingers? I take them off. The lanshes will fall like dead leaves, and nothing will bring them back to life. If you remove my mask, I'll fall too. It's an unbreakable enchantment. What if it takes you over again? It won't consume me. My threads are torn on the outside. The ones inside are still strong, but I'll eventually burn them out, one by one. Perhaps you should break them despite the pain. Think I'm afraid of injuring my face? No, Icon. The mask is fixed to the heart. Okay, good talk. Here's my advice. When you've got time, warrior, find peace in your heart. My heart is a desert where peace cannot be found. Okay, well, that's one way to look at things, I guess. Alright, well, we have a long road ahead, but the roaming menhir might make it shorter. Assuming we can find the roaming menhir. Otherwise, we'll take the Quimra path. Not that I have a choice. You catch up with a couple of drunk, unsuspecting gals dragging a bloodied Ends by a rope. He's been tortured and his right hand has been amputated. The Ends groans. Seeing you and your companions, the gals stop in their tracks. So here's the thing. A couple of chapters ago, I would have just been like, yep, kill that sucker, it's an abomination. But, okay, now we have one on our side, and one of the other sub-chapters from the last one with Hopper, we found out that, well, Hopper and his group aren't exactly human either, and the Enses have something to do anyway. We're going to be nice to the guy, to the Ends, and we'll see what happens. It's probably going to come bite me in the butt, but we're going to be nice anyway. Ignoring the gals, you examine the stranger. He's not dead, but close to it. You produce a flask and pour some water through the opening in his mask, but the Ends begin seizing. He dies a moment later. His own kind left him as a deadly wounded man, Kama says quietly. The Enses cut off the hands to prevent the rings of the gods from falling into foreign hands. You swear you see a glimpse of tears through the slits in Kama's mask. You ask, why didn't they finish him off? Why didn't they spare him from the suffering? There's no menhir, says Kama. A sacrifice was unnecessary, as was the rest. He's dying, but his suffering is of no consequence. Look, steep thorn needles under his toenails and fingernails, and sticking out through the openings of his mask. He's been blinded. The Enses didn't do it, but he didn't care. Find out where the gals are taking him, find out where the gals found him. Where did they find him? One of the gals shrugs, regarding Kama anxiously. It's here, not far away. There are many dead Frisians, but only one of his kind. Bring him to the nearest watch. One of the gals shrugs, regarding Kama anxiously. It's here, not far away. There are many dead Frisians, but only one of his kind. We'll bring him to the nearest watch. Why did you torture the wounded, you ask? What did you hope to learn? The gal shrugs. We weren't trying to learn anything, just having fun. It's not a person. Vermin. It's already dying. Kill the gals yourself. Ask Reet to kill them. Tell Kama to kill them. You know what? No. You step forward, draw your sword, and slit both Highlanders' throats with a single stroke. The road is silent. I don't let people in my party do my own dirty work. Those who torture or hurt others for pleasure should expect a miserable fate themselves, you say. Violence without purpose must be punished. And we continue on. Scavenger birds circle overhead. You can see something dark in the desert haze. It looks like a rider lying on the ground. The birds haven't landed. The poor fellow must still be alive. Alright, let's see what happened. You leave the road and approach the body. Companions follow. You spot a Frisian on the sand with a captain's insignia and a strix around his neck. He has a fat purse on his belt. It looks like he fought off the bandits, but didn't get far due to his wounds. You take another step forward to ensure the wounded can still come to his senses, and notice a small crossbow. You deflect the arrow with your sword and finish off the enemy with your next move. Brr shivers. You're incredibly fast, Icon. That Frisian surely would have shot me, if not for you. Wish you hadn't killed him, though. That was his last bolt. You shake your head and point to the knife clutched in the Frisian's other hand. This warrior was ready to defend himself until the very end. We showed mercy and respect when we killed him. Alright, well... guess that's something. You see a pregnant Frisian woman lying on the road, unconscious from dehydration, and holding an infant. You stop. The child moves, but is too weak to cry. Janet winces in revulsion. Such people don't survive. Look at her. She's practically dust. Giving her water is a waste of time. It won't make a difference. The only merciful thing to do is kill her. You examine the woman. She's still breathing, but doesn't have much time left. Judging by the wounds on her wrists, she tried to make the child drink her blood. Now, we're gonna save her. Granted, so far I'm 0 for 2 on trying to save people with low Pheng this chapter, but we're gonna try for a third. You approach the woman and bring a flask of water to her lips. The water runs down her cheeks until finally she seems to swallow. Take the child and try to make him drink, you tell your companions. Those ready to give a child their blood to drink deserve respect. You grab the woman, lifting her as she swings blindly with a knife. She strikes your shoulder, but she's weak. The blade doesn't even puncture your clothes. You can't help but be amused. You take the weapon, throwing it to the ground. What an idiot, you laugh. Let's bring her to a well. If she clings to life this tightly, she may actually survive. You spend a whole day saving the woman. By journey's end, she's come to her senses. She rises, taking the crying baby back from you, and thanks you for your help. She says that the local watch was killed by bandits, and she fled. She removes strixes and several gold coins from her belt and gives them to you. Alright, well, I feel better about that. We lost some strixes. We lost more strixes than we gained. But I feel better. Okay, now we have some choices. The monk's path, Quimra path, path of mercy. Well, I think since we're trying to... oh, the roaming menhir's way up here. It doesn't matter what I do then. It's the torture stockade. Grim prison for unruly prisoners. Or the Royal Tower. Let's take the path of mercy to the Royal Tower. You travel through uninhabited lands. Unkempt trees and bushes line the roadside. Without warning, Reet throws her bow, quiver, and her travel bag down and bolts to one of the trees. Several people lie motionless by the tree, gravely wounded or dead. Reet fusses over them for a while, then gets up and signals for you to stay back. She returns carrying 2 colored braids decorated with strixes that she's cut from the corpses. She doesn't say anything, but her eyes swim with tears. Her lips tremble as she breathes in ragged gasps. We should talk to her later. Reed's shoulders shake with silent sobs, and she keeps looking back at the corpses you left behind. You remain silent. Everyone deals with their own grief. Some burdens can't be shared. You give the Quimrans about an hour to herself. I know that one cannot bring back the past, Reed says in response to her stare. But you can still see it. One of the men killed near that tree was my childhood friend. He and his companion were murdered by Enzes, the very people they came to rescue and free from their curse. Thanks for the silence, Icon. As you wonder how to comfort your companion, she suddenly starts humming the same song she did in Woden. Somehow her voice grows stronger, instilling confidence in all who hear it. Their morale actually improved. You hear barking and growling. As you draw closer, you see a pack of stepdogs mauling a woman. Covered in blood and no longer able to scream, she lies in the dirt, desperately trying to protect a bundle. It must be her baby. Your companions are itching to rush to the rescue. Obviously, we're going to intervene. You move past your companions and kill most of the dogs with a few swift strides. The rest of the pack scatters, whining. Still, the woman is beyond salvation. She clutches her ripped throat and wheezes for air. You've no choice but to put her out of her misery. Your mortified companions watch as you pick up the infant. A man or woman is dying in agony. It is a warrior's duty to end their misery, you explain, not to rescue other people's children and waste time looking for a nurse. Fortunately, you soon meet a large company of travelers, one of whom is a nursemaid. You pay her, leaving the infant in her care. Well, I swear half these encounters just could end with a sign where I just go, "We tried!" Just off the road, you hear shouting, barking, and muffled growls. You investigate and discover a huge wolf tied to a tree. It's muzzled, and its hind legs are secured by a fishing net. Several Gellian women hurl rocks at the animal, preparing to set their dogs upon it. A man holding a torch tied to a long stick thrusts it towards the wolf. Rur scratches his head. That's some foul sport. It's good for dogs to fight a wolf once in a while, but not if it's bound. That's outrageous. Seizing the element of surprise, you slowly draw your sword. Alright, we're going to free the animal. You step before the women with your sword drawn. 3 swings is all it takes to cut the ropes binding the animal. The dogs scatter with their tails between their legs. The wolf limps towards the forest. Silence falls over the little glade. The Gallian women huddle together and the children run back into the bushes. The man tries to save his dignity. You look back at your companions. Could this wolf confess the location of its lair? No. And what's the point in torturing it? The Gel's eyes are full of hatred. It was killing our cattle! You feign surprise. Then why didn't you kill it? To teach it a lesson? Trying to make the wolf swear that it'll never kill cattle again? The Gel grabs a stake from the ground and snarls menacingly. Remind me, why is some squinty-eyed schlep ordering the Gels around? Threaten him before we get to the killing. You step forward, striking the Gel below the knees with one fluid swing of your sword. Because he can, you reply, as he topples to the ground. The Gellian women run away screaming. There should be a point to everything, you tell your companions. Nourishment, survival, or enrichment as a means of avoiding poverty. But a beast's suffering is pointless. This bastard's suffering is pointless, at least when the other bastards can't see it. Put the wheezing Gel out of his misery. I guess I should have just killed him right off the bat then. Apparently when Pheng threatens someone, it involves threatening them to death. The itching inside the icon patterns makes you grind your teeth in pain and scratch your ears. Could be the reaping, magic, the ubiquitous salt in the air, or the recent journey through the igneous desert. On top of everything else, the Strixes absorb your fatigue and burn themselves out. You see a man ahead, loaded with goods and money. He looks like a merchant, but his clothes aren't those of a man of means. Well, let's ask if he's got anything for sale. We've certainly got plenty of gold to burn. The merchant readily drops his sack to the dirt. I have many goods. Don't be fooled by my looks. They keep the bandits away. I have many useful things. Great. Well, let's buy stuff. Okay, that I wish I could afford. But I can't. Well, so let's buy cards that I need fragments of. And Strixes. And I guess we're good. Alright, so now we can take the Darian Road. Goes to the Salty Well. Or the Path of Mercy that goes to the Salty Gully. Either way, we're trying to get here. Path of Mercy it is. You continue your journey until you sense an enchantment on the road ahead. It feels like a brewing thunderstorm, but the skies above are clear and still. You stop and scan the horizon for any sign of danger. It almost feels as if there's a battle raging nearby. If so, you'd be happy to avoid it. Reed picks up on your anxiety. There's a sanctuary nearby. Gellian shamans wasted many Strixes there, soaking them in the victim's blood in an attempt to make more. That's why that place attracts the Enzes. And when you say Enzes, think the Quimera. Outside of reap time, you almost never see enses, but I visited this place a couple of times. It's not on any map, but it can't be more than 3 leagues away now. You rack your memory for something relevant you may have read in the ancient manuscripts. However, it seems that you'll need help finding the solution. Okay, what's Reet's opinion? Reet looks at you, confused. What danger are several Gellian dotards? She asks with a shrug. You've got no magic, no weapons. But if you really want to avoid that place, you can head slightly to the north. Let's get Candy's opinion, too. Candy doesn't share your anxiety. Never been to these parts before, but I haven't heard of any hocus-pocus either. It's better to stay on the road, if you ask me. Less chance of stumbling. And Aelis' opinion? Aelis also trembles with a fear he can't explain. He suggests that you skirt the sanctuary from the south, because he's used to circumventing trouble from that direction. And make a decision. Skirt around to the north, keep moving, skirt around to the south, or wait. Screw it. We're going in. Reed says take 'em. You stick to your chosen road, despite the growing feeling of menace. Danger seems to lurk behind every hillock. Your heart thumps in your ears as if you were a callow youth, not a warrior of peace. However, the feeling of menace finally melts after several hours. All that for nothing. The road climbs a hill, then dives into a hollow. There's a makeshift enclosure, its walls as high as the stockades. You hear screams, vaguely like a child's, coming from behind those walls. Several Gels line up in front of the gate, their weapons at the ready. Join the battle. You prefer not to waste time negotiating and draw your weapon. The Gels look befuddled, but they hold their ground. Seems they were hoping for an easy victory over your insolent bunch. Boy, are they in for a surprise. Oh, right, okay. Aelis is the monk. Cleric. Whatever. We'll swap him in for Bola. Alright, first time this chapter. Fight's on. 2, 3, 4, 7 hostiles. I like to just kind of let them come to me. Right, okay, yeah, he is a cleric. Let's just go ahead and start buffing people. Rude. body bag that guy. Alright. Basically, I knew he was going to take a hit, maybe 2 hits. Defense buffed. This is where we play Come At Me, Bro. Oh, he wasn't supposed to attack him. That's really unfortunate. She needs a defense buff. And can we kill him? No. Not worth it if it's not a kill shot. Wow, that hurt. He had 6 defense there. Ouch. Damage and increase health by 8. Okay, this is going to be a little tougher than I thought. Okay. Alright, we're just gonna have to go with this. And have her back up. Okay, we can do that. Give us a couple quick kills. Son of a... Still couldn't save Reed there. Couldn't save Shannon either. I got a feeling this battle is gonna hurt a little bit. You take charge of the skirmish and vanquish the Gales. Tell your companions to open the gate to the stockade, which has fallen eerily silent. Inside the stockade, you find N's prisoners. Bound by arms and legs, their dead bodies are mangled. Some have had their masks ripped off, along with their faces. They're likely the ones you heard screaming. Your companions are silent. It looks like you killed the Gels unjustly. This is also war, you explain. It's rare to find a battle where the sides are evenly split into villains and saints. Okay, well, I kind of feel bad about that one now. Alright, I think we're gonna make it to the Roaming Menhir. Reet tells you that she knows what it cost you to give her the stone that saved her. You don't reply. Your stone absorbed the curse and died, she added as she leaves. I don't know how the stones die, but that's how it felt. It's just a Strix now. This magic is very powerful, Icon. As she leaves, you remember the price you paid for the stone. Only the best have them. You needed to win to rise to the top, and defeated warriors your age and older. In retrospect, those battles seem more terrifying than the ones you fight now. As they put you on the altar and prepare you to insert another sacrificial stone into your flesh, you close your eyes, More to avoid seeing the friends you killed and mutilated for this moment than to avoid seeing the rite itself. It doesn't help. The real question is, were they really your friends? Didn't they try to give you a taste of your own medicine? Why? Being momentarily drunk on power coupled with the inescapable horror of humiliation? Or maybe you wanted to feel this red-haired woman's piercing gaze on your back. The road weaves through a thick growth of nut trees and elfin wood. You can smell the smoke from a nearby Gallian village. Without warning, a stone flies from the shrubs, accompanied by children's laughter. A veritable hail of rocks follows, some of which are rather hefty. Okay, going to ignore this because punish with low Pheng means somebody's losing an arm or a leg or their life. Anyway, ignore these jerks. You tell your companions to move forward with caution. Still, one of the larger stones hits its mark. Through the brushes, you hear jeering and the sound of retreating footsteps. Luckily, no one is badly hurt. Murr has a minor injury. Fine. I'm okay with that because everybody was at full health. The road goes through an abandoned Gallian village. The ancestral towers are in ruins, and the gardens are abandoned. A young Frisian shovels earth near the roadside altar. There are several sacks, a street merchant's cart, and a chest that hawkers carry on their shoulders. You shake your head. There's no worse act for an icon than disturbing the ashes of the deceased. It's strange. The Shadow Clan is indifferent to the fates of strangers, but is quick to ensure their fallen rest peacefully. It might be because after death we are all mixed in the cauldrons of the gods. At least, that's what the temple servants say. Alright, we're going to follow our code and kill him. You put the marauder to death and throw both his body and the merchant's possessions into an open grave, using things stolen from the dead as desecration, no matter who does it. There are no people in Terminium who approve of grave robbing. Your companions whisper in approval behind you. Morale up! Yay! You stop at a pole located at the crossroads. The colorful patches hanging from it indicate that the Quimera frequent this place. You nod at your find as Reet approaches. Reet looks around worriedly, then shows you a large bare spot on the ground and a trail that bends around it. That's right, Icon. It's the Quimera path. Even though it's hard to meet them here. A Wandering Menhir should appear. You just need to lure it. Here's the trail. Okay. What do you mean about waiting for a Menhir? Try to understand the reason for Reet's unease. How quickly is it going to appear? Does it appear every time? It's the best way to lure it. Reet looks back, catches your eye, and approaches. You look at Reet and feel what you felt when she was singing in Woden. It's indescribable. She's not singing now, though. She has something important to say. This is the place. The shortcut begins here. When the roaming Menhir appears, we'll douse it with blood, and it'll transport us to the Menhir near your home. Yeah, how How much blood do we need to spill here? I can't tell to be sure. The reaping changes everything. Before, a palmful from each warrior was enough. Okay, so hopefully we're not talking about actually having to kill anybody. Weapons, armor, and all. Don't have a baggage train full of loot. Keep everything we're carrying. Great, how soon will it show up? It's usually revealed by now, but sometimes you have to wait. Is there any other way? There's no other shortcut. From here, the Quimera would normally travel to the reclining menhir nearby. But something very gruesome is going on. It's been a year since the Frisians let anyone near that menhir. I think that's where the Inquisitors were sending us. The menhir can be lured out. Death may attract it, but will also anger the menhir guardian. What do you think? Who is this guardian? He's not a Quimera. He is a master of these lands. He has no castle or army save for the bandits in the Vale of Mercy, and they're just a diversion. He serves the roaming menhir. What exactly are you going to do? Just wait for the menhir to appear. If it doesn't appear by the end of the day, I'd say there's no shortcut. Reet tries to say something, but you silence her. More talk is unnecessary. Having considered the situation at hand, you summon Reet. We need a sacrifice, we should spill blood, we should give up on the shortcut. I don't really like any of these options. Reet speaks up. When the reaping began, everything changed. We must leave the plain, but the roaming menhir might not appear in time. Unfortunately, I'm not sure what it'll take to lure it out. All I know is that blood must be spilt. Shannon grins wickedly. There's a burden in every party, and ours is no exception. Let's get rid of it and use the free blood. Shannon draws her sword. She's poised to run Alis through, but a shard of Kama's flying sword knocks the weapon from her hand. The End struggles to speak the foreign language. We do not need a victim. There's enemy coming here. We will fight the Gels. Oh good, I don't actually have to kill anybody I care about. Yay! That's a plus. Alright. Let's adjust our party a little bit here. Alright, we'll go with this group. There's a lot of those annoying axe thrower guys. Never mind. He's the axe thrower. All these other guys are marauders who've got shields. And that would be the warrior. Okay, lovely. Yuck. Alright, let's just go with it. Okay, we're gonna leave him for later. Try and buff some health. That's alarmingly close there. Her attack really suffers compared to Reed's. Alright, well. Not gonna get a better shot than that one. I guess I have to pick one, huh? Kind of rude. See, that's... Wait, I want everyone to attack low Pheng right now. Swore to do that? Great. She can take that kill then. Actually, okay, here's where we pop that one. Yep. Great. Keep attacking Low Pheng, knuckleheads. Yeah, kind of figured. I have no idea what that card did, but it's not going to matter. Alright, one minor injury was probably worth it. Ooh, that's helpful. Newly appeared Menhir. Wow. The newly appeared Menhir is huge. So big it could crush an entire Frisian legion. It's strange that you didn't notice the moment it appeared. It makes sense why many travelers think the roaming Menhir is a mirage. It hovers above the ground. Reet is downcast. Here it is, but its guardian is missing. A very bad sign. I can't help you, Icon. I must prepare the shortcut. You look around. Help? With what? Aren't all the gals dead? Reet shakes her head. It's Enzes. You can sense them already. They flock to the Menhirs like bees to flowers. Get ready to fight. You close your eyes for a moment, and indeed sense a looming danger. The masked warriors who appear by the sacred stones at reap time must be close. Okay, well, after that whole long, oh, we're not gonna do a whole lot thing, yeah, now we have some big fights. Okay, who do we need in the party? Away we go. Well, at least there's only 6. Okay, so Pheng goes there. We're going to try the critically stupid... Oh, perfect. Except it's not actually going to kill him, so... Defense up! But yeah, that ought to keep those guys busy. So now we'll worry about this bunch. Just absolutely go for it here. Don't know if that was a good decision. The going for it part, I mean. That hurt. That's getting annoying. Alright, so Pheng has gotten 3 of them. Well, I have no idea what's going to happen next. Really? I should have used him first. Just gone all out there. I would have saved her that wound. Oh well. Turning around again, you see a stranger standing next to Reet in the Menhir's shadow. His stern face is that of a warrior or seasoned traveler. He must be the guardian Reet mentioned. The stranger looks you up and down, motionless, like the very rock he protects. This look doesn't bode well, but a third battle might be the charm. Really don't want to fight again. Let's just nod. Either the stranger didn't see it, or he didn't interpret your nod as a greeting. Nevertheless, he keeps staring at you. You slowly realize that he is a warrior, and deadly, even for an icon. At least we get a conversation and not death. Alright. Let's do some quick party management. Okay, and let's chat people up. Starting with Kama. Do you hear me, Kama? You fought against your own brethren. You would never fight other icons. You would. If your brethren started killing everyone in sight, if they went mad, if they tried to kill you, you would. It's not my brothers I fought, but the ones who devoured my world. Who are the Reapers? The gods' servants, the gods' garments, the gods' heralds. Servants! Umbra. The master is mad, the servants even madder. Not enough words. I will explain later. I'm trying to understand, Kama. What drives you? Is it your duty? Your faith? Repentance? Why did you rush to Ayla's defense? Why did you stop Shannon? Just to be merciful? Mercy required time I didn't have. I didn't want a silly death. That's all. This Menhir is clean, and only a clean Menhir can open the shortcut. A dirty one, a quick death. Blood taken by force is dirty. Didn't the Enses pour blood over the triple menhir? We were infusing it with poison and power. We weren't trying to create a shortcut where none exists. It's a problem. Divine oversight. It shouldn't be that way here. It's wisdom that drives me. What do you talk about with Reet? About me and who I am now. About time and how much I have. How much the world has. Reet is wisdom. So who are you now? An Ends outcast, a tribeless warrior. A former assassin, a soldier in an unlikely army. Reet saved me. I don't understand everything, but I know she saved me. She pulled me out of a dark enchantment. I hope neither of you are mistaken. Unlike armor, spells can't be seen, can they? Not visible to the naked eye. I see the enchantments in the stones in your flesh, Icon. They impart great strength. The menhirs are much like the stones, but are set into the flesh of your world instead. I happen to be part of that. So how much time do you have? As long as the reaping lasts. Maybe less. We feed on the power of the menhirs, but not because we can't eat other food. The spells binding us need the power of the menhirs. Those same spells kill us when the reaping ends. These spells can't be broken. The longer the reaping, the longer your life. Reet told me about the Quimra. Turns out that they're my people too. I believe her. She's given my life purpose. I shall not let the reaping conclude with this world ending. So how much time does this world have, then? I don't know. It's not as bad as it was in my world yet, but it doesn't take long for water to boil over flames. If the one who destroyed my world comes here, it will be over quickly. Will you sense his arrival? I believe I will. As will you. But you wouldn't recognize him. Kind of like being on the scaffold and hearing the whoosh of the executioner's axe above your neck. We'll talk again. Our fates are willing, and our luck collides. We share the same luck, comma. Okay, let's talk to Alis. Alis can barely breathe after what's happened. He clenches his teeth, hands trembling. You move to reassure him.
No.
I've almost recovered, and I'm deeply grateful to the Ends for saving me. For a minute there, I thought they both wanted to chop me up. I'll keep an eye on Shannon. I myself will sleep with my eyes open. I've always known that women can't be trusted. Okay. Let's go have a word with Shannon then. Why are you so pleased with yourself? Happy that you didn't commit murder? I'm pleased in general. Life's short, Icon. You should seek pleasure wherever you can. You shouldn't kill for pleasure. You knew the Gels were approaching. You probably heard them. Nothing gets past you, Icon. Here, take these Strixes. Collected them from the corpses of the Enses, and nobody noticed. Should have kept their eyes peeled. What are you playing at, Shannon? Why did you escape Woden if you're seeking death? Is there something I should know? Make a guess, Icon. Why would a young lass tear her life apart? Maybe it was torn long ago. Let's try not to tear apart the lives of others while we're at it. Look who's talking. Don't icons kill for trifling matters? Do they value another's life? You know nothing of icons. Someone is killed for a trifling matter. The matter either was actually serious, or the killer is not an icon. The death of another brings no relief. To each his own. People find relief their own way, get drunk their own way, breathe their own way, and die their own way. Shannon, remember that death can come from any side when you summon it in a crowd. I'm not sure what that means. Alright, it's a good idea to ask the determined-looking stranger what brought him here. So let's do that. This menhir creates a shortcut. The stranger is likely a gatekeeper. We could ask him how to use it, if it even exists. This is Orkan, Icon. He looks after the roaming menhir, makes sure it doesn't absorb poison. He'll help us, but I'll need to weave the enchantment myself. The reaping changes everything, Icon. You have Reet with you, so I'll help her and make sure you're not transported to your death. However, be prepared to surface somewhere unexpected. I promise that I'll get you where you need to go. You'll have to shed a little blood, which isn't paying the ultimate price, nor is it a redemptive act. Is there anything else you need to know? What keeps the stone on the floor? How do you kill a reaper? Why do you want to know that? To oppose the reaper. To take on the strongest of the powerful. Are you hungry for glory or nursing wounded pride? You're in your own right will. I know a bit about it. Hundreds of years ago, 14 stone knives were fashioned, each as powerful as a small menhir. The chance to use them against the reapers never arrived. Still, they came at a high price. The Ashen Wasteland is proof of that. In the Battle of Drowsy Deep, 12 Kuros, runaway servants of the gods, had to kill themselves with these stone knives. There was no other way to stop the 5 reapers that stood against them. One knife remained with Blance, the 13th Kuro. Another was stolen. These knives are a sure way to kill a reaper, despite never being tested for that purpose. Where will the shortcut take me? To another menhir down south. Isn't that where you're heading? More or less. I feel like the key word that he said was, it'll take you where you need to go. Not necessarily where you want to go, but where you need to go. Alright, what keeps the stone afloat? A wise man once said, it's not the roaming menhir that soars, but the earth that sinks. Both have been trying to reach for each other ever since. Well, let's move on then. Give it a bit of time. The stone has to cool down. Oh sure, now Reet wants a word. Let's talk to Swarty first. She looks stunned and rubs her neck, paying no attention to the soaring menhir. Has the plague robbed her of her senses? You feeling worse? Why are you rubbing your neck? Quite the opposite. It hasn't hurt a bit since the menhir appeared. Too bad the ulcer is still there. The pain will return. Wish I could stay with the menhir, but Orkan is quite intimidating. If I die, I'd rather die by your side. Okay, why would you want to die by my side? No, that's fair. Because if I die by your side, I'd know death was the only option. If it were anyone else, I'd be afraid of dying far less nobly. Let me tell you something else. Look closely at Reed. It could be the color of her eyes, or their shape. I can't put my finger on it, but she could be Orkin's daughter, or granddaughter, or great-granddaughter. You have to admit that the girl is right. There's a slight similarity between them. Isn't that a good reason to trust Orkin? No. Okay. Let's talk to Reed. What are you doing? Drawing. What troubles you? Do you think Orkin might trick us? I should appease all being and reassure Orkin. It's almost a sign. He's very cautious. The reaping is dire news for him, just as it is for all Terminium. One day his service may come to an end. So what do you need to do? Cup your hand and fill it with your blood. Stand under the stone and press your bloodied palm to it. Anywhere is fine. Then wait until I touch it. What are we going to see? Nothing. One kind of darkness will stand in for another. When it dissolves, we'll be far from here. And where are we what are we going to feel? Don't know. Before I didn't feel anything, but that wasn't during the reaping. How much more time do you need? Just a few moments. I'll let you know when I'm ready. Alright, well, nobody has any more words to say, so... let's do it. Orkin lifts his hand. You approach the menhir, appreciating its mass. Close up, it sure doesn't seem weightless. Orkin raises his palm. When you mirror his gesture, he cuts his palm, brushing everyone's hand in turn. Where are we going? Orkin thinks for a while before answering. I'm not sure. I'd rather send you to the Vandal Forest, or to Ursus, but the Veil of Mercy could draw you too. Something formed there when the reaping began, almost like a new menhir. Destination aside, I will keep you safe from the reclining menhir. Stand transfixed. In a flash you see into the heart of the steppe roamer, 1,000 years of pain and longing. He puts one arm around Reed's shoulder, pressing his other hand against the stone next to the girl's, palm up. You do the same. Good, Orkin says, before hurling you into darkness. Whatever happens, protect Reed, Icon, you hear Orkin say, as darkness envelops you. And we go into a fight, apparently. It's like the veil covering you since you touched the menhir is lifted. Chilly air nips at your cheeks on a mountain ledge, at a place where the road bends. Several astounded Gels unsheath their swords before you. Damn you, Icon! Kendi cries. As if being thrown out into the snow isn't enough! We've practically landed on the enemy's blades! You draw your swords. You should deal with this unexpected obstacle before forging ahead. Yeah, well, I don't think we have a choice but to deal with this unexpected obstacle. Alright, well... he's gonna go there, because he's gonna go up there and deal with them. Just gonna kind of wing it with everyone else. Like, plan A is pretty much... we send him in and draw as much attention as we can. Really hoping they weren't going to do that. Got a lot of retaliation there. Gee, I should have done that first. To reduce our damage. Right. This is the part I was counting on. How's her health 16? Whatever, it's fine. Right, using her to break through armor is really handy. was gonna attack somebody. See if we can get away without anybody else dying, though. Yep. Maybe. Yes. Just have to pick the right person this time. Okay, that went well. You stand motionless. The battle is over. The Gale's lost. Blood staining the frozen rocks crunches underfoot. As the heat of battle passes, the bitter cold tightens its thorny embrace. You scan the area. I've forgotten what the snow and cold felt like. You have beautiful mountains here. Everything else fits. There's a metallic taste in my mouth. It's what a shortcut should feel like. We're somewhere on the edge of the Vale of Mercy. We should leave before we freeze to death. I don't know why we've emerged here. I know of no menhirs in these parts. Might be something with power equal to a menhir, though. But wait! We're not the only ones led astray. Those are N's footprints. What could be as powerful as a menhir? Maybe a new menhir formed here? It's a question few temple servants can answer. Could be something that belonged to a god. A weapon, perhaps, or a piece of jewelry. Even the god itself. Or a reaper. Orkan could have been more precise. Could have at least warned us. Though we liked you. Whatever has drawn the Enzes here has lured us too. It's quite curious. Orkan has nothing to do with it. Luckily, I'm not an Enz. I'm an Enz, but since Reed lifted my enchantment, I'm no longer drawn to menhirs. I'm not an Enz either, but I sense something. Either a menhir, or a kind of magical power, or a person wielding that power. I've hit a dead end. I don't know what the Gels were doing here, but there's only one choice now. I'll have to follow the Enz's tracks. Wait a minute. Isn't this the hut of the seer person from the prologue? A treacherous path leads to the snow-powdered ruins of an ancient temple. A shack is nestled in the midst of them. There's no menhir or altar in sight, but you can immediately tell that the decrepit hut is inhabited, and that a group of Enzes blocks your way, ready for battle. Man, we are really suddenly doing a lot of fighting. Yeah, we'll roll with it. That's a lot of N's. Alright, once again, Pheng gets to be head of kill, try and get everyone's attention. And everyone else gets to just kind of back him up. Buff her health before I run over there and try and take that line. Okay, there's 3 down real quick. Actually, before I do that... I don't know if this is going to work or not. Nuts. Well, it seemed like a good idea at the time. That's just rude. Oh, armor break. Not cool. Should be a takeout if I can. Yep. I can actually. Now the question is, can I get this guy before he kills her? The answer is maybe. The answer is no. We tried. No sooner do you lower your sword than you notice a middle-aged woman with white hair standing in the hovel's doorway. She emanates unmistakable power and looks vaguely familiar. Yeah, 'cause it's Amma. Gods in heavens, she's a Cirrus! Told you about her once, remember? Her white hair is legendary. They say she knows the answers to all questions. If you want to talk to one woman, don't go whispering to another. Even if you're an icon. Especially if you're a warrior of peace. Though I doubt that a warrior of peace could have made it here. You must be really anxious to find me. My gals are no longer. Is that right? Who are you? Why do you look familiar? My name is Amma. Not that it means anything to you. As for my face, I'll tell you why it looks familiar later, when the time is right. Do we have much time? An ignorant man is fearless. Those who have little time don't prize it above all because they never recognize its true value. I've heard that fortune-tellers give vague answers that are open to many interpretations. You're no fortune-teller, that much is clear. But how can you be a Cirrus or healer without another living soul around? Living souls pester me from time to time. To be fair, they are easily turned into souls of the dead. Like today. Well, ask away while you're still breathing. I'll do my best to live up to the Quimran tales that allege I'm a Cirrus. Does Orkin know that we're here? He may suspect something, but he can pull his hair out and it'll change nothing. You send a boat downstream, you can't foresee every whirlpool, even though the river's mouth never moves. What are the Gels doing here? It was my guard icon. I wanted to keep it away from the Enzes, but miscalculated. I don't regret losing it. I wasn't planning to go anywhere, but the sight of you and your red-haired companion bids me do otherwise. Where will you go? To Opacum. Everybody's going there. It's a fortress on the far side of the Milky Mountains. There's a menhir there, but Orkin's will isn't going to get you there. That menhir is dead. You will escort me to it by the paths of the Vale of Mercy and Vandal Forest. What's in Opacum for you? I don't know. It's difficult to see one's own future. The fortress will see its share of misery, but the reaping isn't all-powerful there. Don't remain dispassionate. Haven't you heard of the Mastery Spiral? Be like a callow youth. Experience joy and sorrow. Remember to breathe peacefully. You will accompany me. We'll set out soon. Before we leave, I'll tell you why you can't refuse, to be sure. Okay, so now we get to have a little discussion. Alright, let's talk to Ruhr. Palian isn't himself lately. His bravado is gone. Ruhr seems tipsy, but you're certain he hasn't had any alcohol. He mumbles something in Palian and smirks, but his expression doesn't fit his troubled gaze. Did you find something out? Where should we go now? This woman is one of a kind. I'd have thought a queen had come out of that hut to greet us, were it not for her tattered dress. She seems unapproachable. What if she's really a queen? I doubt it. There aren't that many kingdoms in Terminium. Everyone would notice if a queen went missing. She's just powerful and strong. Not sure about the nature of her power yet, but powerful she is. This is what I can't grasp. She's probably wise, and likely still deft. But what is her power? Have you heard of the Palian enchanters? Not the Vandal shamans or the Frisian sorcerers meddling with graveyard flesh, or the Burkanan witches, but the Palian enchanters? The ones that can make warriors fearless? At least you know something of the Palians. Warriors do not drink mushroom infusions to fill themselves with rage. Those are tall tales. Truth be told, they listen to their enchanter. They absorb the power he channels. Through his gesture, his gaze, even his silence. Alma seems like a very powerful enchantress. One glance was enough to make me feel weak, like a Palian rat. If she hounds me on, however, I'll transform into a raging beast. You wouldn't understand. I suppose so. What do you know about Obicum? It's a large, enchanted fortress. Sorcerers feel nauseous in its proximity, and it heats certain amulets. Legend says it's never been taken, yet every ship eventually sinks. Do you think it's time? What do I know about time? I do sense something is brewing in the air. Rats always flee a sinking ship first. That's not true of the Palians. Do you know why? Because their instincts are even better. Palians flee ahead of the rats. That's good to know. Alright, let's talk to Bola. She is strangely excited. She's smiling. And it's sincere. You're a tough one, aren't you? The cold isn't getting to you? The wind brings the scent of my homeland. I've never been there, but my heart leaps into my throat at the thought of seeing my family home. I'm the lucky one, Icon. Everything will be fine. What do you mean by fine? Life is fine when today is followed by tomorrow, and you can count on the next day coming in turn. No executions or other terrors. Settling in your home, having a husband and children is very much fine. Never mind, though. You can call me crazy. I care not who you are, or who you think you are. You can't see yourself from the inside, can you? Why should I care who you are now, if you'll just change the next minute? If you want to know where the arrow will strike, find the archer, talk to him, see how he dines, where he sleeps, and take a good long look at his bow. That's the Burkanan saying, isn't it? How can I tell you of Burkana if I've never been there? You're like a seed eager to impregnate the soil. Take your pick. I don't care if it's the soil, the womb, or a flower pot. But I can tell you one thing, Icon. I will never be a slave again. Do you think about the lady of these ruins? There was a tragedy in her life. One of such magnitude you can't possibly imagine. There's more and worse grief to endure. Trust me, I know. Women just sense it. That's why I'm so happy. Compared to hers, my troubles are puny. Kama. Kama is rooted to the spot. You wonder why the lady of these ruins is so mesmerizing to him. You approach Kama. He leans against a stone post, looking much like a post himself. His mask must be rooted to his face. She knows people like me. She came by and spoke to me, said that I can remove my mask to become inconspicuous. She spoke my language, not like Reet, but the way we speak in my world. This woman's from there too. Does it worry you? I won't last long. That's what Reet said, but I feel it inside too. Like a log tossed onto the fire. I felt it most acutely the moment I laid eyes on Amma. Will you take off your mask? No. Without it, I feel defenseless. Listen, there's another matter. There's something like a menhir nearby. Something similarly powerful. Is it the rock itself? No, it's something Amma is wearing. Could also be Amma herself. Be careful, Icon. If I'm right, she's stronger than you are. Umbra aren't human. Where I come from, they're akin to terrible demons. They served the gods, one of them at least. The crazier he was, the more terrible his servants became. Only now do I understand this. Tell me everything you know, even if you have few words to describe it. Can you tell me about the gods of your world? Almost nothing. There were 5 of them. Talking about them in vain was punishable by death. I've killed for that myself. One thing is certain. 4 of the 5 tried to save my world. Don't ask me for details. My knowledge is like the echo of good tidings that cling to your face like spider webs, or like a drowning child's cry. You can't be sure of anything. How many Umbra servants are there? According to Reet, 12 lower Umbra perished at Drowsy Deep 700 years ago. There were originally 25. 5 high Umbra and 20 lower Umbra. A set of 4 for each of the Almighty. 5 high Umbra and 8 lower Umbra still live, though. Lower Umbra are also called Kuros, or runaways. We are taught to kill them, but haven't killed any yet. Very few manage it. Not to mention the fact that you can't hide from the high Umbra. So I'm thinking the 5 Umbra are the Reapers. Who are the Reapers? High Umbra who have absorbed the spirit of their divinity. Since no one controls them, they become Reapers and gorge themselves on the Menhir's power. I can't guarantee any of the Umbra won't become Reapers. I can list the High Umbra's names. Dorpkal, Atrak, Adna, Childeo, and the greatest of them, Tibabar. He has the face of an old man, and his body is that of a towering athlete. It's a walking cauldron of hatred. And last question for now. Why is it that the Menhirs, the Umbra, and the Enzes are the only remnants of your world? They aren't the only remnants, Icon. Somewhere in the depths of Terminium, there's an ark full of my kin waiting to be rescued. It's possible that I was suspended within it all these years. It's also possible that the reaping is meant to purge this world for our rule. Are you prepared to kill me to reduce this risk? I have more important things to do right now. Alright then. Alright, Let's talk to Reed. As quiet as a mouse. Why is she so scared? Why do you withdraw? Does something about this woman frighten you? She's odd, but not threatening. Don't understand. She's different. She's someone like Orkan. Someone who's capable of extraordinary feats. I think you'll see soon enough. I sense a darkness in her that Orkan lacked. What do you mean? What kind of deeds? She foresees the future. That's quite something. Believe me, guarding a floating menhir isn't the weirdest thing in Terminium. That woman, though, is a mystery. Tell me, what troubles you? What could happen if Amma says something to make me accompany her? I had a feeling that she saw her deaths. There's no mercy in her eyes, no hope. The good news is that I could be wrong. I'm no seeress myself. Alright, well, let's go talk to Amma. You could suggest departing to the white-haired lady if you're done here. Let's heal up first. Well, that was a slight waste. Oh well. Explain yourself before we leave, Amma. Are you sure that I'll escort you? Do you remember the words carved into the wall of the serpent's tomb many centuries ago? Let me remind you. There is no death as long as your spirit is incorruptible. I like this one. The temple is hundreds of years old. Have you forgotten the generations of sculptors and stonemasons that had worked on it? It's 800 years old. It's built on a sheer cliff which became its altar. Didn't you know that all the sculptors and stonemasons had been killed in secret? The maxims of the great ancestress cannot be taken beyond the temple precinct. But there's one exception. What wisdom are you talking about? The one that's whispered into the neophyte's ears during initiation. The warrior of peace should have been told, live and wait for the summon. Now I summon you, Icon. There's not another warrior of peace in the whole of Terminium, is there? Who are you, Amma? Why do you look so familiar? I've been told that my image is carved into the column to the right of the temple altar. I doubt the sculptor cared about a true likeness, but I've heard they annually refresh the white paint for the hair. I am the great ancestress. Now we set out, Icon. And one more thing, warrior. Don't fret over Strixes while you're traveling with me. You don't personally have to rely on them in any case. Or are you saving them for someone else? Protect Reed if you can. Trust me, without her, your life isn't worth anything. Hey folks, Aaron here. Thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed it and you want more, please hit the subscribe button, like it, all that stuff, and don't forget the alerts for when I post new videos. New videos go up every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 8 a.m. Central. Vlogs and gaming content. You can also find me at my blog, stickstoriesscotch.blogspot.com, my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/shadowcaster, and a lot of other writing over on Mariner's Rock. Hope you'll be back next time. Until then, remember, keep your knees in the breeze and the shiny side up. And now, I gotta ride.